Hi everybody, Jim Nixon, ASB Professional. I hope you're all keeping well today. This is tip 4, day number 4. As promised, we're going to be covering the community trigger this evening. So I just want to run through a few things around that. If you haven't seen my previous 3 videos, just to give you a bit of background, I've been involved in community safety, ASB, for about 25 years. Just over 20 years with West Midlands Police, specialised mainly in community policing, ASB. Then went on to work for a housing association in the West Midlands for a couple of years, again as a community safety manager, again specialising in ASB. And then more recently, over the last couple of years, I've worked for a local authority as an ASB manager. So that's a bit about my background. Little bit of a disclaimer before I start. These are my own personal views and my own personal experiences from my career. Please always refer to your own policies and procedures, and also consult your own in-house legal team or in line with your own legal arrangements. So community trigger, very, very interesting subject for me. If I'm being totally honest with you, in my experience of the community trigger, 2 things. Number 1, organisations in some cases don't really understand what it is. And I'll give you a really good example of that in a minute. And number 2, they see it as a complaint, and they see it as a way to shy away from it, really, and see it as, oh, we're being sort of put under the microscope. I look at it completely another way, which I'll go on to. But very quickly, I'm currently working for a very vulnerable victim down in London at the moment, who I'm working as a professional advocate because she's had quite a bad experience. And I contacted a council a couple of weeks ago on her behalf, asking to activate the trigger. And we were told that the trigger couldn't be activated because she lived in a housing association property, which we all know is absolute rubbish because it's not tenure specific. As long as you meet the criteria, it applies to everybody that's obviously suffered ASB. So it was quite concerning, that was. But in my experience, what I find is that the mention of the trigger seems to put the fear of dread into some ASB professionals. And I look at it as, particularly if you've done absolutely everything you can to try and solve that problem and that case, you are, in a position where do you go with it? Yes, they may go through your corporate complaints procedure, not a problem. But I always think it's a great tool to use to say to the complainants, this is available to you. It will be independently assessed by a chair that has no involvement in the case. They will obviously look at it with a panel. We will present the evidence, and any other partners that have had involvement, like the police, will present the evidence, and we will obviously provide you with an outcome of that particular trigger panel meeting. What we also do where I work is we also, when a trigger is activated, a commissioned service with victim support, a nominated worker, will contact the victim or the complainant and support them through that trigger process. And although the complainant doesn't attend the trigger meeting, we always allow the victim support representative to attend that meeting and support that particular victim and give that victim a voice. So I think that's really important. But you know what, guys, the bottom line is, say you go through the whole trigger process and you come out with a couple of recommendations, is that not a bad thing? in my opinion, you come out of it, you've got a couple of recommendations, you hold your hands up, you look at what's gone wrong and you put it right. You know, it's as simple as that. So I really don't want people to see it as, you know, something to be avoided. We actively promote it on my team. You know, we actively promote it, and we you know, we will send people emails with the link. We've got it all over our website, and in quite a few occasions, we've actually said to the, you know, to the victim, you know, do you want us to help you fill out the paperwork? You know, it's as simple as that, really. You know, we want them to do it, because, you know, if they're not satisfied, you know, we want them to get some closure. So just very quickly, an example, I had a case that had been going on for about 3-4 years, neighbour dispute, very sort of tit for tat. And the one side decided that they weren't satisfied with what we'd done. It was mainly noise complaints, and they decided to activate the trigger. And the trigger was activated. We had the panel meeting. Apart from trying mediation again, which was the recommendation, which subsequently didn't happen, because we just felt that it wasn't going to work, and made that really clear to both parties. We sort of found that the complaints really slowed down, not straight away. We did have a few little issues initially, but it has really calmed down now. And we, you know, I can't remember the last time we had any kind of complaints from that particular set of houses. So, you know, we actively told them to activate the trigger. They did it. And, you know, they had their case independently assessed and they got the feedback. And as I said, we looked at mediation, but in the end, it was deemed not suitable. So the tip today really is, don't shy away from the community trigger. You know, embrace it, use it. It's there for victims. It's there, you know, to test the evidence. And if you get any recommendations, put it right, admit you're wrong, move on, you become a better team. So that's the tip for today. Hope you liked it. Please like it on my LinkedIn page, share it and comment on it for best practice. And tomorrow I'm going to come back with tip number 5, which is going to be noise nuisance and a little bit around safeguarding too. So I will catch you all tomorrow. Have a great evening. Cheers, guys.